Hi guys. For today and tomorrow, you're going to be doing an online blood lab if you're remote or if you're going to be missing those 2 days. So I have the link to the virtual lab right up here. And these are the data points that you'll be collecting for patient 1, 2, and 3. And then there are 4 journal questions that you'll answer at the end. You can either submit this as a text entry where you type right in it, or you can attach a Google Doc. So I'm going to click on this and show you what it looks like. On your Chromebook, you should have a Flash player, and it should automatically pop up for you. Now, if this is not working, then just watch me do the lab, and you can get your data from what I have done here. Hide that, move this over here. All right, so how does the body protect itself against foreign substances? The ABO blood grouping system illustrates the concept of immune response by demonstrating how a living tissue, blood, reacts in the presence of a foreign substance, another blood type. Blood types are genetically determined. The most common blood grouping system is the ABO system. In this system, blood is classified into 4 types: A, B, AB, and O. Differences in the blood types are determined in the ABO system by the presence or absence of marker proteins called antigens on the cell membranes of the red blood cells. Antigens are chemicals that stimulate an immune response in the blood. The letters A and B stand for the type of antigen present in the blood cells. Thus, blood type A has A antigens, blood type B has B antigens, blood type AB has both A and B antigens, and blood type O has no antigens. In addition to antigens, blood also contains proteins called antibodies. These antibodies destroy or neutralize foreign substances, such as pathogens, that enter the body. Antibodies are located in blood plasma, or the liquid part of blood. They recognize and react to the presence of foreign antigens by locking onto them like matching pieces in a jigsaw puzzle. Each type of blood contains antibodies for the antigens it does not have itself. Thus, type A blood has B antibodies, type B blood has A antibodies, type AB blood has no antibodies, and type O blood has both A and B antibodies. Knowing which blood types are compatible is crucial before giving blood transfusions. If a person receives an incompatible blood transfusion, an immune response is triggered. The antibodies in the recipient's blood destroy the foreign red blood cells. The red blood cells clump together, cutting off blood flow through the blood vessels and capillaries. In this virtual lab, you will examine how the body protects itself against foreign substances. You will prepare a slide of the patient's blood and add anti-A and anti-B serum to determine which blood types in the ABO grouping system are compatible for transfusions. The objective is to explain how blood is classified in the ABO grouping system, discuss how the immune system reacts to incompatible blood types, explain why blood types must be checked before the transfusions are given. Click through the arrow and scroll through the poster to examine all the blood types. So your blood types are right over here, and I believe right now we are on Show Blood Type. So if I click on blood type A, this is what a red blood cell looks like, and it has anti-A antibodies. If you click on B, these guys are little triangles, and it has anti-A antibodies. AB, it has both the points and the flat edges from the A and the B. It doesn't have any antibodies, so he can accept everyone. And if we go to O, he doesn't have anything on the outside of his red blood cell, and he has both anti-A and anti-B antibodies. Click the View Immune Response button to learn how incompatible blood transfusions cause an immune response. Click the hand pointing right to advance through the steps of the immune response. Click the hand pointing left to go back a step. Click the Show Blood Types button to return to the poster of the blood types. So view immune response. When blood is transfused from one person to another, knowing both people's blood types is extremely important. Blood transfusions between people are incompatible blood types trigger a response in the immune system of the recipient. Let's examine the immune response of a person with blood type A who receives a transfusion of blood type B. Blood A has marker proteins known as antigen A proteins on the surface of its red blood cells. In the plasma or liquid part of the blood, type A, there are anti-B antibodies with shapes that match those of foreign antigen B proteins on the red blood cells of blood type B. These are like matching pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. Blood to be used for the transfusion only contains red blood cells. The plasma which contains the antibodies is removed. That's why the donor's blood type B does not contain anti-A antibodies. So they actually separate the blood cells from the plasma. When blood type B is transfused into a person with blood type A, anti-B antibodies in the recipient's blood plasma attack the foreign antigen B proteins on the red blood cells of the type B. So these little antibodies are going to come in here and attach themselves to that red blood cell. The recipient's anti-B antibodies destroy the foreign red blood cells, causing the red blood cells to clump together. Clumps of red blood cells can block the recipient's blood vessels and capillaries. This can restrict blood flow and the person may die. Okay, so go back to show blood types. Choose a test tube of the patient's blood to identify its blood type as A, B, AB, or O. Click the pipette bulb in the test tube to transfer 2 drops of blood to the microscope slide. If blood is already on the slide and you want to start over or examine the blood of another patient, click the Clean Slide button. To determine the type of antigens and antibodies present in the blood, add serum to the slide. Click the pipette bulb in one of the flasks of serum. Repeat this step using the other type of serum. Observe the results and use the poster of the blood types to determine which types are compatible with the serum that was added. If a drop of blood on the slide clots, then the blood and serum are incompatible. If nothing happens to the drop of blood on the slide, there is no clotting, then the blood and serum are compatible. Given the results of adding both types of serum to the blood, determine the patient's blood type. Click and drag the appropriate test tube labels, so these are the test tube labels right here, A, B, AB, or O, to the test tube of the patient's blood. Note, you can only label the test tube containing the blood that is currently on the slide. Click the check button. If you incorrectly determined the patient's blood type, the test tube label will be highlighted. Use the poster of blood types, examine the data on the microscope slide, and try again. If you correctly determined the patient's blood type, a small microscope slide of the data will appear below in the test tube of the blood. Record your data in your data table. So if you go back to that assignment back here, you'll be making your own little data table and you'll be telling me what patient A, patient 2, patient 3, patient 1 have as far as their blood types go. You'll repeat this procedure to determine the blood types of all the other patients and complete the journal buttons. Click the reset button to get different set of blood samples. All right, so the journal questions are also in here. I've already written them for you, so you really don't have to type anything. You don't need to worry about any of these buttons here. So we'll start with patient 1. So I'm going to add anti-A serum, which contains A antibodies, and I'm going to add anti-B serum, which contains B antibodies. So we're looking at that, and we can see that it is clumping with the anti-A serum, and it's not clumping with the anti-B serum. So I'll just start with the first one here, put that label on it, and I'm going to hit the check button. So it did not highlight itself, so this particular test tube contains type A blood. So patient 1 for my experiment is type A. So we'll move on to patient 2. Okay, so now we see that it's clotting with both. So I'm going to hit type A again. We know it's going to be wrong, but I want to show you what it looks like. So see how it highlighted itself? That means that I was incorrect, and now I can pick a new one. Now, knowing that it clotted with both of them, it's not going to be A and it's not going to be B. That particular type is type AB. So it clumped with the anti-B serum, which means that it contains B antibodies. So that would be probably type B, and it is type B. So my three types are A, B, and B. Knowing that information, you should be able to go back here, and then you will go through and answer your questions. Some of these you may want to look up online as well if you're not sure. You could always go back through and reread this part as well. It should contain some of the answers in there. You guys have 2 days to complete this assignment, both Thursday and Friday. And then, let's see, Monday we will probably move on to something else. I will talk to you later. Have a good one.